It is now time for raising funds for World Domination, day number 188. So, it's time for the daily update. Once again, it's over a couple weeks ago now. We technically won the rent eviction case, so we can all stay in the apartments. Word on the street is the landlord may try to appeal the ruling, but I think they have shaky grounds upon which to do so, and I still haven't heard any official thing on that, so we'll see. The next front is trying to ramp up sales in the Shopify Store. For today, there is no update on that. No sales. And no updates on getting the disabled Google Merchant Center working. Hello, Robert. I'm listening to a book about our out-of-body experiences. Interesting. That's never really been a subject that interested me much. I assume that most out-of-body experiences are probably attributable to like physiological things. Orthoplex 64, how's it going? Yeah, so no updates on the store. There is an update on the marketing video, because I guess as you may have saw, I released a video today. So that's basically a third of it, a little under a third actually. So and in the editing, let's say 95%, because it's actually I have basically like the rough pass edit of the last two sections, but I may make just a couple of changes to the editing, and then I'll probably stagger those out so that I have something in the pipeline. Maybe, I don't know, I'll release them one per week over the next couple of weeks or something. Let's see, the video that was released today was like a 7 out of 10 or something. So it's not amazing views. My channel's been trending down quite a bit recently. I guess it's not too surprising. I haven't posted anything like that I guess I would expect would get a ton of views, but that's the trade-off. If you want to post like sensational stuff, like if I just posted update videos every day, like saying the market's gonna crash, the economy's bad, those would probably get lots of views. But if I try to post well thought out analytical things that are useful, that'll get less views. Father told me he did them when I was 5. I had to go to a counselor because of how scary they were. Definitely think they're real. Yeah, I don't know what to say about that. That's my expertise is in software engineering. I guess you could think about it like a software problem. If there's like a pointer, there's like some programming, it's a programming bug in reality or in the brain. Could release more rock smashing, my favorite Java function videos. More rock smashing? Is that a reference to my game, or? All right, so that's it for the daily update. Let's continue on with work toward the next release. The terminal block mining game. CPU? Oh yeah, I forgot. How could I forget my most popular video? Okay, so what I implemented yesterday was the start of the ability to have lists that can go in multiple dimensions. You're too focused on out of body experience? Why would you be focused on that? I'm focused on out of body experience. I'm not focused on it at all. You mentioned it in a couple of comments ago. All right, so what I need is a scroll bar down here, and I also need to implement updating the offsets up here. You just focused on it because you keep bringing it up. Let's see. So let's just implement the right movement case. Giordani says, hello there. How's it going? Maybe this selected index should actually be a pair like I and J. I liked your marketing video that just dropped. Excellent. Yeah, there's actually 2 more in the pipeline. I guess what I was doing was some people asked for like an extended commentary video on the how to start a business video, and I was thinking about just doing like low effort reviews, which I kind of managed to do that for the first couple. So I did one for, what was it, law, and then like business funding models. I forget the other one. And I thought, oh, I'll just crank out one on marketing quick. But then as I thought about it more, I was like, to explain this, I need a good diagram. I gotta kind of figure this out in a good way. Make some graphics and stuff to articulate it a bit better. Because I think that there's also a needed market for that. Something that talks about marketing that appeals a bit more to the engineering mind. So yeah, hopefully it does well. I mean, most of my videos are on Linux, so it makes sense to me why the views of the business videos are lower, because that's not the primary focus of my channel. But I would kind of like to straddle both of those things. It'd be nice to have an audience that is interested in both. I think it's a tragedy we don't have more like engineers and technical people who actually try to start businesses. Great, Senator did great. My blog with 11T JavaScript static website generator. Excellent. How about you? I'm pretty good. I made progress today. Released a video that I've been working on for a while now. And I think tomorrow I get all the recordings finished. The recording's the most kind of annoying and stressful part. What do you use to edit your videos? I use Kden Live, which is an open source free editor. It's pretty good. When I first started using it, there was a number of bugs I ran into, but I actually reported a couple and they got fixed. And I mean, actually, these days with all the AI enhancements and stuff, I almost feel that like AI is probably at the capability where it could really speed up editing. So I do almost wish that there was like some open source AI supercharged, like something can edit all the dead space and stuff. How will you accomplish world domination? That's a very good question. I have a link in the description on this video. I've made a dedicated video to describe my world domination plans. Someone really likes this live stream because I keep seeing those hearts. That's very dedicated. Thank you. Holu Blitz says, "Hi, Robert. How's it going?" That's me. Thank you. I wonder if that actually helps the stream. Don't know, to be honest. Yeah, neither do I. Did you get affected by the Azure outage today? I was not. I didn't even hear about it, actually. AWS went down recently, too. I have so much code duplication here. GCP is next. Maybe. Maybe the number of comments and interactions should have some sort of impact. Yeah, it probably does. It's probably a really complicated algorithm. There's probably lots of there's probably some kind of algorithm to I don't know if it's only like one user who's doing it, they maybe only count the first one or something. Okay, this might do what I need. Maybe this is exactly the same. And that was the wrong place to put that anyway. run that and see if that works. String comparison in Java always gets me. Oh, you mean with like equality? Yeah, that was something that I didn't realize for a surprisingly long amount of time, is that just doing equals is not what you want in a lot of cases, and also for numbers. If you have like a long type, and you do like long, long I, long J, and you do if I equals J, that's not right. You want to do I dot equals J. And the even trickier part is, I think it's the first like 128 numbers are like cached, so you can do equals with those ones as an implementation detail. But if you have like large arbitrary numbers that are not necessarily guaranteed to be in memory, then you're supposed to do dot equals. I know there's another type of live stream, like TikTok mode. I don't know much about it. Your stream would appear when people are doom scrolling. Another type of live stream on YouTube, you mean? Does it compare the alphanumeric values? If you're doing a string comparison, it'll just check to make sure that the strings are the same. Well, this is almost doing what I wanted. Equals on strings. Java compares the actual Java objects instead of a literal string. So it's almost always false. Yeah, I forget the minutia of the details. But I know it's equals on string is dangerous. I think it's also in C there's like by value and by reference, but then in Java I think everything is by reference. But there's like yeah, I'm not going to try and explain it because I don't understand. I remember back in university there was a course you could take where you basically wrote a small Java compiler. And I remember my friend at the time explained the nuances of it to me, but I can't remember them. Maybe what I want is grid. Yeah, I think that's what I want. Nice ChatGPT. Equals on strings, compares by reference. So it'll be true if you compare the same object reference, false otherwise. Yeah, I think I found that out by accident one time, and then when I learned of my mistake, I was like, whoa. It's one of those moments where you're like, I gotta check myself before I wreck myself. Oh, nice. It's doing exactly what I wanted. Except for at the end, it's not doing what I want. You know what? Let's undo that. For a long time, I thought equals could compare struct values in C, since it would make sense. I forget what happens in that case. Does it just give you a compile error? Grandis says, yo, how's it going? So I think what we'll do I think I'll replace this selected index, which is an index in the list. I'll replace that with two values. So like selected X index, selected Y index. Because that will simplify a number of things. Yeah, and then I'll this list index. Yeah, it's only used there. So that'll remove the need for that function. There's some phones where you can give a program a magic hash for a password, which will be interpreted as an int. Nice. To-do quirk in PHP will evaluate to true. Oh, that's good. A magic hash for a password. Okay, so would that be like you give it a password, or you give it some string that hashes to like an MD5 hash, but the MD5 hash is all digits, numbers, and then so it evaluates to int instead of being treated as a hash? That's pretty silly. Oh yeah. That's an amusing bug. Yeah, that kind of category of, it's like it's such a stupid bug that you wouldn't even think that it would exist. I think recent versions of PHP eliminated behavior. Yeah, who was it there? G or Danny said that explains the WordPress security thing. Yeah, PHP, I guess, was full of things like that, and then WordPress has been built on top of PHP, and the programming quality of WordPress itself is pretty bad itself. Okay, so this would be oh, look at that. Speaking of that not equals issue, I should be doing this. It's not even right. That's what I named that. Selected. Should they try to have compatibility with older versions? No idea. Yeah, I'm sure there's lots of thought probably put into new versions of PHP to break a minimum amount of things. I think they have actually worked a lot on improving the language, but I haven't used it in years. Oh, that's Y, not X. PHP is fun to code, since you can essentially write front end and back end code at the same time. Front end. Do you mean like I guess you're writing like you can template the HTML and stuff, but modern front end is usually very JavaScript heavy. Unrestricted file upload basically allows for RCA if you can upload PHP files. Yeah, I remember since forever there's been some like super bad exploits, and I remember there's a list of things you're supposed to turn off in your php.ini file. Okay, that's one updated. So we have to go right in the vertical orientation. gotta turn off always to execute system commands. Yeah, there's a bunch of those. The problem is with, well, that was one of the reasons I've always had such an aversion to PHP. It's just such a long list of things like that. And like to keep up with the encyclopedia of things you need to turn off, it's just too much work. What Linux distro are you using? I'm just using regular Ubuntu. All right, we're getting there. I know there is a niche in distro hopping of people changing between Linux and making tier lists. Yeah, in my opinion, people talk a lot about like what distribution do you use, but in my opinion, the distribution, all distributions are basically the same thing, and with a sufficiently large amount of work. I mean, that would be an interesting demo to do actually. Like, I'm pretty sure with this, there exists a certain sequence of commands where you could take and install Arch Linux, and then you could systematically, by, you know, diffing and applying patches and stuff, you could turn Arch Linux into like Ubuntu 24 Linux systematically if you run all the right commands. It would take you a long time, but you could do like for some things you'd have to like just like probably pull in a given config file or something. Just copy and paste it directly from the Ubuntu install. But like changing, like the thing that really makes the distribution is like what package manager does it have, what packages are pre-installed, the like init system, how is the init system set up, and if you check in like, I forget the folder, but there's like udev configs and stuff like that. What are the default udev configs? Like when you have a distribution and it doesn't work out of the box with certain hardware, usually it's because there's either a kernel module not enabled or installed, or there's some kind of like systemd thing or a udev rule that's not there. And that's really what goes into making a distribution. And so you can put all of those on all of them. But I think the real reason to have one distribution, to favor one over another, is just because it comes with whatever you want already on it. All right, for left arrow. I think there is not Linux distribution with a girlfriend on it. I don't think there are any distributions that come that way. No, but there might be some. I mean, I'm sure if you go down that rabbit hole, you can find some really, niche. There's probably some like anime, waifu Linux distributions if you want to look out for them. I'm sure there's probably at least like 15 of those. Well, actually, this might simplify to be the same in both branches. Hannah Montana. I know Hannah Montana, but is Ubuntu? Oh, you don't like it because it's Ubuntu based? It's a lot of work to make your own distribution. I mean, if you're really hardcore, like why would you use someone else's distribution? You can't trust it. You should just compile it from scratch. And just do Linux from scratch. I have a video about Linux from scratch. I went through that once if you want to watch that on my channel. I think it's called like my failed Linux distribution. Okay, that might be all of them. I'd like to try Linux from scratch, but I'm in college. Need my laptop to do homework. If you do try it out, I'd recommend trying it out in a virtual machine, because that's because when I did it, I screwed up a couple things, and I had to go back and start. So if you do it in a virtual machine, you can actually go back and kind of reset. So I decided to stay in Debian. Don't do any two-hour Gentoo installation. Yeah, if you do Linux from scratch, it takes quite a bit of time. Depends how fast your computer is and how fast it can compile stuff. But I think it was like it took me like I think 11 days or something to get through it the first time, and then eventually I automated it into just like I saved my steps, and the automated process I think was like 23 hours or something. Lots and lots of compiling. All right, let's see if that works. Okay, that direction works. Actually, I gotta change that. And that's one edge case to fix. Alright, the up case is broken. Oh yeah, I guess I already have this function. That's a lot of dedication you're exuding with your hearting. That's a very large number of hearts. I guess we still got around the same as the usual number of concurrent viewers. Sometimes my phone lags. Yeah, I don't know. I wonder if it's if the hearts like are allocating new objects every time, maybe causing memory leaks. Well, it's almost correct. Right, one more case to fix, and then I'll be back to feature parity. That's what it was. This was a good decision because it makes it much less complicated. I could probably even collapse some of these branches down. Actually, I think there's one more case. Let's test this first. In that case, is it a good idea to have large files? For some reason, I'm afraid of that when I'm writing CSS. I don't really think so. I think any CSS file that you're actually writing by hand is like minuscule in comparison with like the average size of stuff today. Like a lot of the, like if you look at a modern website, you just do inspect element, go in and look at what CSS files they have. They're like crazy huge. If you're concerned about it, like if you have a CSS file that's really large, you can minify your CSS files. Actually, if you say you're using a static site generator, so there might be an option you can look into to minify your files. You can minify the CSS, usually quite a bit. And that also exists for JavaScript. And you can like minify out some of the white space in HTML. But I think for the most part, if it's a CSS file that you wrote by hand, it's going to take a long time for it to become a problem. But if you're using like, there's many generators and stuff, like kind of WYSIWYG type things, I could see some of those making some like insanely programmatically generated CSS files that are massive. This I'm actually made collapse down to just being the same. Right, that might do it. I don't know a thing. what I do is I create different files for different parts of the website because I feel it's less overwhelming. This allows you to import CSS files. Yeah, I'd say when you're starting out, that's probably not a bad idea. On one level, you could say that's better. Usually, for a lot of big sites, they'll usually mostly due to like laziness, kind of, they'll make like one CSS file, and then that one CSS file will have all the CSS rules for like everything on most of the pages. Even if it's not actually on that page. So you might have like special styles for the contact form, and even when you're on the home page, it'll load those in the CSS file. And then when you go to the home contact page, it just loads the same styles.css. You could split it up to be more efficient, because then probably you'll have half of the rules on either one. But I think a lot of people don't go that way, just because now you have like the whole idea of a CSS is having themes, so a lot of it will be the same. So I'd say starting out, you could just experiment, do whatever works, but eventually you'll probably like a reasonable way to do it is you'd have like theme.css, and theme that's loaded on every page, and it'll have like the theme of the web page, stuff like the header and the background colors and all that stuff. And you'll have like on specific pages you'd have like a contact.css, and that would have like specific things that are specific to that page. If you have any kind of like one-off CSS rules that are like don't fit in at all with your other rules. I guess the other thing to think of is the time it takes to do a request. So if even if you do have the same like theme.css with everything stuffed in that, and you load a bunch of pages on the second page request, that same CSS file will probably be cached, so it won't have to do another request. All right, that works. How are you planning on domination? That's a good question. I have a link in the description. I made a dedicated video to go over my plans in detail. Maybe I can just copy and paste. That may actually work. Try it out. All right, that may have actually removed the dependency on the orientation for all these. Let's see if that works. Nice. It's got a slight miscalculation with the scroll bar, but that's fixable. I anticipated that. What would you do next once you finish this project? The current goal is to basically just finish this multi-dimensional list feature and then fix the bug in the crafting. It's not rendering properly here. That should be wrapping. Then I'm going to do a new release of this, and then there's some other videos that I'm going to work on. And I'm probably going to also work on some other things to just try and bring in more revenue I made a few sales through the product through the store. I was really hoping I could get that to work with Google Merchant Center. I'll probably try that again, because if I can get that enabled, then I would actually get probably, a few sales a month or something. Yeah, I don't know. I've got a to-do list that'll keep me busy for a while. Yeah, it's the two videos that'll probably be done within a few days. And then once I finish the videos, then I'm gonna probably work on this. Right now I'm only working on this on stream, but I'll probably switch to working on this throughout the day, just to push it to completion. But in general, this project overall, I don't think will ever be complete. There's an infinite amount of stuff you could add to a game. Alright, it's working. Nice. I know that online stores can have a big amount of revenue, but it depends on what you sell and whether you're lucky. Yeah, I mean, it also depends on your products. You could have good products that people actually want. The products I have, it's I don't know, it's kind of confusing, honestly, because like the regular, not many people want regular expression stickers. It's kind of a niche, very random niche product. But I did sell for those, and I did a bunch of other. I've sold maybe like around $6,000 worth of that. Those like, stickers and fridge magnets and stuff through Kickstarter campaigns. That was like my original attempt at creating those. In fact, there are a lot of them is left over. The product I have is left over from that, so I figured I might as well. I made a few $1,000s on it before, so I figured if I sell it as a standalone product, then I could just sell it forever. Although it really seems like people don't seek it out, but it's very much like an impulse buy. So it's all about like just getting the traffic and the clicks and stuff, which is why I tried using that Google Merchant Center, because that gives you like it gives you like little links under, so all my videos would have links under them to my store, but unfortunately it's disabled because of misrepresentation. But I don't know, I'll have to look into it. It's probably some maybe dumb thing I have to add. I have to like add more information to the store, or gotta improve my shipping policy or something. We'll see. It's all just a ton of work, lots of grinding away at many things to make progress. All right, we're at 23:37. I think that's probably a good place to leave it for tonight. So yeah, I went kind of overboard with this list. I'd hoped to be done this much sooner in the past. But I guess putting more work into making it more versatile will just make it that much more useful in the future. I had actually been thinking, well, people mentioned I should have in-game purchases, and I was thinking that'd be funny because I actually could implement something like that now. So this could be like, this here is just a template, but for example, I could have the entire periodic table rendered in the game, and then so you can like browse around on it and see which ones are taken already, and you can find whatever element you're interested in, and then click a link and it'll go right to my store. That's one idea. But yeah, once this is working really nice, then I will update this inventory to use that. Anyway, have a good night, and we'll be back tomorrow night for day 189. Later.